While Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, and Spider-Man may have stolen the show for Sony at this E3, Days Gone sat there, under the radar, ready to prove that it can hang with the big boys. And after finally getting my hands on the game, let me tell you, it definitely can. What's going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo, and I have been waiting to play Days Gone for what feels like years. And I think if you look back, it actually has been years. I was a bit worried about Days Gone when the game first debuted. Would it just be another zombie title? They've got the Pacific Northwest, they've got these bikers, they've got this horde mechanic, but would it amount to something greater than the sum of its parts? And a lot of people have been talking, is this game going to be worth it? It just got announced that it's releasing on February 22nd. Should we be ready to pony up $60 for Days Gone, or should we pass over this Sony exclusive? And I think it's safe to say you can be excited. This game is a ton of fun. I got to play 2 different demos, and it definitely won me over for all the right reasons. It proved its depth and complexity in combat, in crafting, in survivability, in progression, and in just overall fun, controls, and polish. So the 2 sections I played, one was a stealth segment from the beginning of the game, kind of just helping teach you the controls and get you familiar with Deacon and the world. Deacon St. John is your main character. You are part of a biker gang, and those are the main kinds of characters you'll be interacting with. Everyone is a threat, the world is wild, and I definitely ran into some super shady dudes. But first I had to sneak past some lower tier freakers who were not aggressive. They were just feasting and eating. Apparently they have to eat and drink like the rest of us, so sometimes you'll see them just scooping water out of a river or lake. So I snuck past these foes and instead dealt with the newts, who were the littlest zombies I saw. They were definitely a little bit more feisty and came at me. I fought them off with a melee weapon. The game really wants you to balance melee with ranged, kind of at the same time. So you will not be able to hip fire. Your right trigger is your melee weapon, and then your left trigger gives you that aim down sights, and you can pop the right trigger then to fire your gun. And there's quite a nice variety in terms of weaponry, and then in terms of the upgrades and modifications you can make to said weapons. I was putting on a suppressor. I'm sure there are other elements as well, because once you bring up the weapon wheel, there is the first circle which shows you what you have equipped, and then you can push that circle out to either attach, craft, or see more options. It's a pretty sweet system. Your character has a health bar that has numbers, so you will be increasing that. There's also stamina, so they really are doubling down on making this a more complex experience than, say, The Last of Us. Now, I don't want to draw constant direct comparisons, but that's, I think, everybody's first thought when you saw Days Gone, and something I always wanted from The Last of Us, and I'm wondering if they'll implement in the sequel, is will there be more depth in terms of crafting and in terms of combat? It looks like Days Gone is going to bring that before The Last of Us reveals what it's even got going on, and I super liked it. So I was sneaking past these low-level zombies, and I was mounting and vaulting onto a building, into a garage, grabbing a part and getting out of there. But my partner, who blazed a trail so that I had a little bit of breathing room, was captured by Rippers, these really rough and rugged faction gang biker group clan. They clearly have a messed up agenda, and they were trying to burn my partner to a crisp. I pulled out my shotgun and I finished them off. The shooting feels really good, and from there I had a chance to really mess with the guns because it dropped me into the second demo, which was a Horde section. Now this is probably what you remember most and best about Days Gone. That demo where they showcased Deacon running around an obstacle course of sorts with big logs and exploding barrels, and you're placing traps and running around and trying to guide this horde and take them out as best you can while funneling them, while burning some, while blowing up others, and the goal is to stay alive and keep them at bay. You need to have a plan and a path, but it's not scripted, and you are very freeform in terms of what you can do. It felt supernatural, and even though this was a specific mission, they said you can run into hordes like this or elements like this randomly in the world, which I think is super freaking cool. But back to the horde I faced off against. It was 500 to 600 strong, which they're saying is a small horde. So if 5 to 600 is a small horde, what the heck is a huge horde? But I absolutely crushed this horde. I think they said I did it faster and better than anybody they'd seen thus far at E3, and I was running them through the ringer. It was super fun because I started above, again, this obstacle course junkyard type environment, and you kind of visually plan out what you want to do. Okay, there's a shipping crate here where you can funnel them all into a small area. There is an exploding canister here. There's some logs over here. How am I going to do this? I crafted some napalm Molotovs to make sure that I got them extra toasted. And then I went to work. I grabbed a heavy machine gun. I had a shotgun in case anyone got close. And I started lobbing these napalm bombs in to start the fun. The zombies came after me right away. I was jumping over trucks, blowing up barrels, knocking down logs, running them through shipping crates. It was super exhilarating and intense while not feeling unmanageable. And the best part was, none of it was scripted. I think that was a big concern when we first saw. I was like, okay, if this is going to be the coolest element, is it just going to feel like you're running through the motions, right? You're just kind of button prompt, shooting here, shooting there. How does this all work? But it felt very freeform. You are in a contained area. They do have these different weapons sort of preset for you in terms of like, okay, there's a nice path. I see if I run through the shipping crate and then lead them over to this tanker, I can blow that up. But you get to decide that on your own. You can make up your own path. And I found myself zigzagging around and improvising on the go because at one moment the zombies got very freaking close. I did it to pull out the shotgun, fend a few off that were right within arm's reach, and then get back on track with a plan of how I was going to take down massive amounts all at once. Because they number in the hundreds, and it's not okay to just spray and pray. You are going to need to use other parts of the environment. And it seems like Days Gone is going to be a big, beautiful world, although I will say it has a grittier, darker, less awe-inspiring visual presentation than some of the other titles we're seeing. It still looks very good, and maybe it was just the areas I played that were grittier, muddier, dirtier areas. I think the demo from last year in the forest that was much more like The Last of Us looked gorgeous, so I can't wait to see what else this environment has. But I love that they are bringing in not only this deeper combat system and my current favorite genre, which is third-person shooters with single player and a story-driven focus, but I like that they're mixing up the plot and the characters. This is not your traditional, oh god, we have to survive to protect, our daughter. It seems like it has a different feel, and I kind of like the biker gang mentality that is going into this game. I really have no familiarity with that, but it was super cool to see just characters behave and speak in a way that we're not accustomed to seeing in games. And I don't mean to blow this out of proportion or say that it's some crazy, unique, brand new idea, but again, it's a good twist on the typical post-apocalyptic survival story, and I do hope that there are more survival elements. Obviously, the game has crafting. Obviously, you need to do a lot to survive, but little things made me happy. Like they said, when you're low on health, the zombies will be more aggressive because they can smell your blood, and I think tweaks like that and touches like that are what helps Days Gone stand amongst the rest of Sony's best. For whatever reason, this one has gotten buried as of late. I don't know if it's because it's been shown at so many E3s or because it was delayed or pushed or just moved to 2019 rather than a fall 2018 release date, or maybe it's because The Last of Us 2 is coming in, so that's the only zombie survival story-based Sony game that people want. But I implore you to give Days Gone a chance. I think it's super fun. It hits all the right notes for me. It feels like a game that is just going to be everything that I want in terms of an open world while still being story focused, depth and complexity of combat while not getting too crazy, survivability and some elements that you need to manage, plus progression of your overall character. Like I said, you can level Deacon up himself and really improve and grow as you go. Here's one more quick anecdote. Ears. Ears are the currency in this game. Freaker ears is how you buy stuff. And if you go for headshots, that will definitely kill these freakers faster, but it won't produce an ear because you'll be blowing off their head, mangling the money. So you'll need to kill them a slower way if you want to secure some currency, and just stuff like that I think is cool, how they are paying attention to details and they are differentiating and they're adding nuances to make sure that in spite of at times looking like just another one of these kinds of games, it does stand out. And it is a game that you will remember after playing. If you're worried about how it plays, don't be. It controls great. If you're concerned about the graphics, don't be. It looks really good. If you wonder if it feels too generic, if it's not fun, guys and girls, Days Gone fits into its own subsector of the zombie apocalypse open world genre, and I think this game is going to be a really good time and live up to the legacy set forth by all of the recent Sony PS4 exclusives. It seems like a very well realized world. They're obviously super familiar with the Pacific Northwest up there at Sony Bend, and I trust that they will realize this world very, very well. I have nothing but good things to say about Days Gone. I love my time with it. I cannot wait to play more. Let me know how you're feeling about Days Gone. Is it one you're watching for, even with all these other exciting titles that were announced that we saw for the first time? Days Gone, dude, it was so much fun and one of my favorite demos of E3 2018. That'll do it for the video, everybody. Thanks so much for being patient. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I had all my equipment stolen from me. It was a complete bummer, a crazy start to E3. They took everything. I've been working to get some of it back, not the original stuff, but either getting lenders or starting to recoup some of the items, so I'm able to make videos, and I hope you guys will stick around because I got a lot more awesome E3 content. I played a bunch of games. It's still been a sweet show, and I can't wait to share all of that with you. In the meantime, thank you once again, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate, and until next time, I love you, and we will see you all later.